You know, the story of this hunt actually starts out a few years ago. We got a picture of this deer when he was probably, what?
3.5.
3.5. We weren't hunting him. As time goes on, we get a picture of him last year, and he looked really good.
He had grown a lot. He had the 3 brow tines on one side, a split on the other, and
Right.
he was a 6x6.
But this was a deer we never got pictures of in the summertime. The only time we ever got pictures of this deer was during the rut. So we knew that that was a deer that we were, that we possibly might be able to hunt.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll back up and tell a little bit on myself here. I've been bow hunting for 40 years, and I'm proof positive that you never quit learning, because I picked up the traditional equipment a few years ago, and I'm really addicted to it. Last year, shooting all summer, I was shooting a very light arrow and a 100-grain broadhead, and I was shooting good with it. But as I found out when I encountered this deer last year, middle of November,
Yep.
he came in, hit the scrape, gave me a perfect shot, and you'll see what happens in this hunt.
Okay, November 23rd. It's a beautiful evening. I've moved into the thicker timber. Wyatt saw his big boy today, had him 70 yards dogging a doe. Around noon. He's been in the tree all day. I sure hope he gets a crack at him. I'm in a great little pinch spot here. Pinch point around the edge of this creek. Got a good wind. Got my recurve with me. There's some really nice bucks in here if I can just get one of them to come by. Give me a good close shot. I might try and do some rattling here after a while. Catch one broke loose, maybe he'll come in here. Beautiful. Oh my. I really thought that shot was good. I could see my luminoc up there, and I watched him walk over the hill, and he was kind of zigzagging. I don't know.
I pinwheel him, perfect, and I literally got no penetration, just went inside the skin, that's it. The arrow fell right out.
Yep. And then we got pictures of him, a week later. And end of late season, he was on our food plot all the time. We just never were able to run into him again. And then he was there all the way through February. And we don't get summer pictures on this farm, so we knew if we were going to see him again, it was going to be late October, early November. And he finally did show back up.
Well, you actually saw him for the first time.
Yeah, I was filming myself on the evening of the 2nd of November, and I saw him on a hot doe about 500 yards away. I got a little bit of footage of him. All right, it's the evening of November 2nd here in Iowa, and I'm sitting by myself tonight. I sat in this tree the other night and had a pretty slow evening, but
it's November 2nd. You never know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. Things have been relatively slow for this time of year, but we're expecting it to take off at any moment, so you got to be out here when it does. My dad's hunting a different farm tonight. Jim just rolled into town, or he's going to be in here in about an hour. So for the next couple weeks, I'll have Jim behind the camera for me, and then Dylan and Kellen just got here, and they're headed down to Missouri to get some stands hung, and they're going to be here for about a week and a half. So pretty exciting time of year. We've got a couple good bucks that I'm after. One of them walked through here 2 or 3 nights ago, right before dark. Haven't had a picture of him since, but you never know. If he shows up here tonight, he should walk right by me if he comes out of this cove. So got all settled in. The first time out with the new DSD doe decoy. If he comes out in this field, I bet he comes over here and checks her. So we will see how tonight goes, but I'm really excited for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, having Jimbo behind the camera and having Dylan and Kellen down hunting Missouri. We're gonna have a lot of people out filming. Hopefully we can knock down some big bucks here real soon. So we'll see what happens tonight. Just sitting here, and this farm I'm on, there's another hillside across the ditch. It's a big CRP field, and I caught a glimpse of a deer running over there, and it looked like a buck. I could see his antlers from here. I mean, 600-700 yards away. So I got the binoculars up, and a doe come running up out of the ditch, and he was right behind her, and it's a really, really big deer. I'm not sure exactly what deer it is, but we definitely don't have pictures of him. But man, it's warm tonight, and we've been wondering what's going on, why we haven't been seeing much activity at all, being November 2nd. But it's pretty obvious that some of them, the big deer, are locked on does already. So that is encouraging, though, that there's a deer like that in this area. I got a little bit of footage of him. He was so far away. I mean, you can see his frame and see his antlers, the sun's shining off him, but man, this next week and a half is going to be fun. We might have to push down in towards the center of this farm and get a little closer to that area, because every year we notice that's where the bucks like to take their does, is that real thick CRP, and there's some real thick ditches over there too. So, but it could definitely happen right here where I'm at too. She could come up into this field and he could follow her. So pretty encouraging though.
And then Jim got here that night. The next day we went in and we had talked and looked at the map, and we're like, we have to get closer down to where these deer are hanging out. So Jim and I went in at noon.
All right, it's the evening of November 3rd here in Iowa. Jimbo got here last night. There's some deer. I see a doe coming this way, but we just got in the tree. We hung this stand about 11:30. It's 3 o'clock. It's a beautiful spot. This is where I think we need to be down here. We're down in the thick cover. The CRP where I saw that giant last night is straight to our west, and we saw a big buck run down in here this morning. So it's an awesome looking spot. There's a bunch of trails that come by us right here, and we got some limbs cut, got some lanes, and I think it's gonna be awesome. So we got in here real quiet, got out. It's a little warm tonight, got a southwest wind, which is perfect for this spot, but it's November 3rd, so it could happen at any time, no matter what the weather's like. But good luck to Dylan and Kellen. My dad's hunting too, and hopefully we can start knocking some down here.
Well, right after we shot that buck, he runs off, and then we hear a snort wheeze. And this 8-pointer comes right up into the timber, starts bumping this doe and pushing her through the brush, and actually chased her right under the tree. And you can hear him breathing. They'd been chasing her around for the last couple hours, I'm sure. And they were both really worn out. It was pretty cool watching them right under the tree, and then he finally chased her off the other direction.
Okay, well, our night changed really fast. We were sitting here, heard the deer running, heard a grunt, looked over, and one of the bucks I was after was behind a hot doe. He chased her right to the base of the tree pretty much and then turned. At 15 yards, it all happened so fast. I shot him. I didn't hit where I was wanting to hit by any means, but we're gonna do what we can to try to find that deer. We're not sure how much penetration it got, so we're gonna have to go look at it on the big screen and take a look at the arrow. So I'm not sure what to expect, but that was crazy.
Well, it has been a long couple days here in Iowa. Jim and I had an amazing hunt. That buck chased a hot doe in there to 12 yards, and my arrow did not hit where I was aiming. And after going back to the house and watching the footage, we realized that I hit a branch about the size of your pinky.
It wasn't very about the size of a pencil.
Pretty square, and knocked my arrow low and right and hit him a little forward. And so we've been tracking blood and beds, and it's just been sort of a nightmare, but we're back on good blood again, and we're hoping that he's not very far. The blood's picked up again, and we are
Just
feeling pretty good. So
be persistent. It's been
yeah, we've been persistent.
It's
So
been a long couple days, a couple sleepless nights. But
hopefully he's up here at the end of this. So the blood's going right around this corner here, and then through this little low
his
area.
beds are getting closer together, so hopefully we can.
There he is,
What? Where?
right there. Right on the other side of this brush pile.
Oh
right
my
here.
gosh. Oh. Why? Oh, look at the scrapes.
Look at that deer. Oh my goodness.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
You know what? We're going to be able to tell the story
About last year.
about last year now.
Yeah, this deer,
Oh my gosh.
we had pictures of him on our farm when he was 3.5-year-old. And last year he showed up and he looked pretty similar to this. He had all the brow tines. He was a 6x6 and he was 4 last year. And Dad actually shot with a recurve and
Pinwheeling.
wasn't shooting enough weight on his arrow, and it didn't penetrate, and it didn't hurt him at all. We had pictures of him 3 days later.
It didn't even go in this. It just went in this. It didn't even go in the skin.
Yeah,
It
just
literally
bounced
hit him,
off.
and as soon as he ran, it just fell out, and
But-
I was just dumbfounded.
So this year, he just showed up. We've actually have 0 pictures of him, but I saw him a couple nights ago on a hot doe in the CRP, and Jim and I decided to get aggressive and get down in the timber where we knew these deer would be cruising. And as luck would have it, a hot doe brings him right to our tree, and we just got super lucky. I can't believe it. What a deer.
You know, you go to bed at night thinking, surely we'll find him.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
never
always,
know.
It's always a long night. But oh my gosh, he's really not that far from where you shot him. Maybe.
No, he just right down the ditch.
Yeah.
But
we didn't take a chance of jumping him.
what an awesome
Oh,
deer.
He is beautiful. How many points does he actually have? One,
He's got 3 here,
2, 3,
4.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. Got 10 on this side.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
19
19
points.
scoreable points. He's just a beast.
That is such a beautiful deer.
Wow.
That's so awesome.
I want to thank Jim for his first day here. Jumps in the tree with me that morning. We go down.
Lucky Jim.
We go down and hang the stand, and 5 o'clock, hot doe chases him he chases a hot doe right to the tree.
Well, I tell you how lucky he is. I took him last night to the tree with me. We were literally in the tree for 3 minutes, and one of my shooters comes down the river, and unfortunately, it was almost the quickest hunt ever. But as it turns out, he got away, and I didn't get a shot. But oh my gosh, Wyatt, that is so pretty.
Beautiful deer.
Awesome.